Hey, I'm Andrew Farquhar. You're listening to the Snackable Marketing Podcast. In this episode, I'll be talking about the importance of visuals with online marketing and specifically your website design. I've always loved visuals. This is one of my favorite aspects of making a website, picking out the visuals, what ones are going to go in, where they're going to go, what goals are they going to achieve. I've studied visual analysis and composition for many years as a photographer and through anthropology. When it comes to your website, it's critical to have exceptional visuals. So visuals could be photographs, videos, graphics, infographics, icons. Whatever they are, they've got to be great, really spectacular. That's the number one factor in people's minds when they first land on the site. What's it look like? And if the visuals look bad, they're going to think the site's bad. It doesn't matter how good the rest of the site is, like its functionality, its layout. If the visuals are really bad, then the site's really bad. So clearly having great visuals is super important to your website strategy. Not only does it influence how people judge your business online, but it's also used to drive engagement and conversion. It can tell a narrative almost instantly to people. A picture is worth 1,000 words after all, and pictures are processed much faster than text. In fact, our brains process images 60,000 times faster than copy or text, according to CoSchedule. And of course, they're great at grabbing people's attention and driving them towards a specific action. In fact, according to CoSchedule, articles with relevant images get 94% more page views than those without. And 93% of people say that images are the number one deciding factor for buying products online, according to Canva. So clearly they're important, and you've got to have great images, videos, and graphics on your website and in your online advertising. So in order to make sure that you're visually representing your business in the best way possible, you need to define your business visually. So chances are you've already got a pretty good idea of what your business looks like from the outside, the visual culture of your business. For instance, you probably already have a logo and colors that you're using. But we want to build on that and add some more characteristics. So one of the best ways to do this is to look at your physical location of your store. What colors, shapes, patterns, and iconic imagery is used in that location. And then you can use those same ones on your website. This works particularly well with businesses such as restaurants who have a specific culture that they're using, like Mexican restaurants, for instance. And when you use the elements from the restaurant, the physical location, then you're also representing your brand consistently through the physical location and the online presence. And you end up with a website that accurately represents the same look, feel, and experience that your customers get in your physical location. After you've analyzed the physical location, look to your competition for inspiration. What are they doing that you think is good, and how can you do the same thing but even better? And also look to advertising. What do current advertising look like? And take the good and improve it and leave out the bad aspect. Lastly, just put everything down in a nice list and prioritize the items so that you can use them in future branding, future advertising, and for your website design. Now that we have your business visually defined, here's some tips on using visuals online. So you want to have a strategy so you know what visuals you need and what goals each of them is going to fulfill. So for your website, this would come in the form of a layout for each page, where you start at the top, what's most important, what are your goals, and you start moving down the page, and you start defining what are the goals for each section, and what kind of content is going to go in each section to achieve that goal. Once you have an idea of what kind of visuals you'll be needing and what the goals are that they're going to achieve, then you're going to want to make sure that you use high quality images, videos, and graphics. It doesn't really matter where they come from. You can use stock photography. You can hire a professional photographer, or you could take them yourself. It doesn't really matter where they come from as long as they're ultra high quality. They need to look spectacular. because if your website has low quality images, visitors will instantly judge your website and business negatively. So besides having a strategy behind what kind of visuals you need, you'll also want to use visual rules like the golden ratio. I'll add a link to an article that gives you a bunch of different rules on how to have great visuals for your website and your online advertising. And I'll also add a link to a list of free and premium stock photography sites that you can use to pick out great images. You don't really want the stock ones to look fake, like they're stock photography. That's often why people hire a professional photographer. It costs a little more, but it's worth it in the end because it's genuine, and people realize that and value authenticity when it comes to your online presence. So that's it for this episode. Thank you again for listening, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please subscribe and share it with your friends and colleagues. And in the next episode, I'll be discussing the story or flow of your website so your audience follows a logical path towards an action that you want them to take.